I'll just double check everything is going. Okay, looks good. Just wait a couple of seconds, see if anyone is gonna pop in live with us. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is when you're watching this. Welcome to day 5 of the Spring into Simple Decluttering Challenge. So before I get into today's decluttering task, I just wanted to take a quick minute to remind you, we're 5 days in now. Sometimes by this point, like, your excitement starts to wane a little bit. So I just wanted to remind you to stay consistent if you can. Decluttering is one of those things where I often say consistency is more important than intensity. So doing a little bit of decluttering often many times will take you further than waiting until you have a big chunk of time to do a bunch of decluttering all at once. So, even if you only have 5 minutes to declutter or only find two or three things to let go of and get rid of, but you do that often, you do that every day or every second day, it adds up and it makes a difference. So I really want to encourage you, just really try to be consistent for these 14 days, because that will be the best way for you to see results of your effort. Good morning, Karen. And start experiencing the benefits of decluttering. So if you can, I just wanted to kind of put that reminder out here. We're at the 5-day mark. Sometimes excitement's waning, but keep going. Try to stay consistent. Remember, like, little bits of time decluttering add up and they matter and they do make a difference. So even myself, sometimes I'll look around the house and just the other day I saw a toy of my kids and I was like, nobody plays with that. I haven't seen anyone use that. But at first, I was like, I'll get that next time I declutter. And then I thought, you know what? No, I'll get that right now. And that's one piece of clutter less in our house, one less thing to deal with. And when I can do that often, it could be 5 or 10 or 20 things by the end of the week. If I'm always just kind of keeping an eye out, spending a few minutes thinking about what we use and need and what we don't. So don't think that, little actions and a few minutes here or there don't matter, because they do matter and they definitely add up. So that was just my little reminder before we get to today's decluttering task. There we go. So today we are moving on to the linen closet, or wherever you keep, extra blankets, sheets, pillows, guest bedding, that kind of thing. That's the category we're going to tackle today. So if you don't keep it in your linen closet, that's okay. Just wherever you keep those things, that's what we're going to tackle. So when we start this, again, this is another area where it can be really helpful to be as honest and realistic with yourself as possible. So I always like to start by really thinking about what you actually use and need in your home. Again, like extra bedding and sheets and those kind of things, it's something that can be easy to keep, what if I need it, or just in case. So I really want you to challenge a lot of those and think them through and kind of just decide if they are actually realistic for you or not. So when you go to this category of stuff, your bedding, sheets, pillows, extra bedding, all of that, start by thinking, what is worn out? What is just past its prime, time to go? Is there anything in there that is just worn out and done? Let go of those things. Next, is there anything in there that you really don't like? I'm sure we've all had like a set of sheets that you just don't like. Maybe they get staticky or they're too rough. Like, I'm talking from a mom of a very highly sensitive child to sensory issues. So sheets that are too rough are just not going to work. So are there any that you just don't like? And these kind of things, if they're almost worn out or you just don't like them, animal shelters are a great place. I know ours around here, they will happily take like worn out linens and towels and like raggedy things. They don't care. They just need it for their animals. So that's one place to do. You can also, rip up sheets and make them into cleaning rags if that's something you want to do. But start by looking for what's worn out and what you don't like. And then from there, based on what's left, think about how much you realistically need. So this is going to be dependent on your family situation, your preferences, your lifestyle, how often you do laundry, how often you host guests, all those things. But just really think, like, how many extra sets of sheets do you need? How many sets of guest bedding do you need? How often do you host guests? Is that something you do often or very rarely? How many extra pillows do you need? If you have like seasonal bedding, like if you change it out based on the seasons, is that realistic? Do you need to do that? Are you doing that? Do you actually use the seasonal bedding, or do you just use the same all year? So really trying to think what you actually need for your life and your preferences. For example, I'll give you our situation. I keep 2 sets of sheets per bed, one to make the bed with and one to wash. And that's it works for me right now. But I have noticed, especially as my kids are getting older, that I think we could quite comfortably just have 1 set of sheets per bed and just wash them and put them back on. I feel like we're out of the stage where like accidents and that kind of thing are happening all the time. So yeah, as my sheets wear out, I might not replace 1 set. I might just stick with 1 set per bed. But 2 sets also work. So just, deciding what works for you, what you're most comfortable with, but still challenging yourself to maybe be a little ruthless. This is also a great time to use the maybe box. Like if you're a little unsure about getting rid of something, or that you might need the extra bedding, put it in the box and just try living without it for a few months and see if you miss it. If you do miss it, it's there, you can get it back out. But if you don't, that will have proven to yourself that you can get along just fine without it. So this is another great time to use that maybe box as a tool. And again, we touched briefly on about like what if and just in case fears that come up. And that can be common, especially with like a utilitarian category like extra bedding. So really just challenge those, think them through, ask yourself, what else would you do? What if the worst thing happened, what would you do? And often when we, let our mind go to that worst case scenario and think it through, it helps us let go of some of that fear. So that's also a tip. So do that for all these categories of extra bedding. Guest bedding, how often do you host? How many guests do you host? Do you use it all, or is it just in case? That kind of thing. Again, if you have seasonal bedding, make sure you really love it and are actually using it. And then if you have time left, so again, if that feels like enough, just do what you can in the time you have. If you have time and energy left and want to continue, if there are other items stored in your linen cabinet, maybe take some time to sort through those as well. I know my linen cabinet contains no linens. One of the benefits of simplifying is that I easily have space in the bathrooms for towels and in the bedrooms for the extra sheets. So I have a drawer in our dresser in each room where I keep the extra sheet sets. And so my linen cabinet actually contains no linens. So instead, I have like our medicine cabinet in there. I have paper products like toilet paper and Kleenex and paper towel, my drying rack and my laundry basket, that kind of thing. So if you have other stuff in your linen cabinet and you have the time and the energy, feel free to tackle anything else in there. This is a great time. If you get on a roll, you're in there anyways and you want to keep going, awesome. So don't stop if you have the time and energy and feel like you want to keep doing it. If it feels like enough, that's okay too. Just focus on doing what you can in the time you have. Even if you just get through some of your linens, that matters and it adds up. So do whatever works for you today for the decluttering challenge. So keep sharing in the group. I love seeing what you guys are doing. So keep sharing. I just think it's so fun. I will be back tomorrow for our next Facebook Live. Tomorrow we're going to move on to a new room. We're going to move to the kitchen. So the kitchen is a very hard-working room in our homes, and it can benefit so much from simplifying and decluttering it. It can make life so much easier. So I'm always excited to start tackling the kitchen because this is one area where you really notice the difference in your everyday life. So that will be really fun. So the kitchen tomorrow. For now, we will work on the linen closet or your linens or whatever works for you in that category of stuff. And we will be back here tomorrow. If you have any questions, post them in the group or send me a message. Keep sharing in the group. And I also wanted to thank everyone for being here and for being so kind. I know the internet is like not known for being such a kind place, and Facebook is not always kind. So I just wanted to thank you guys all. I see the encouragement and the support and you guys cheering each other on. And that is so special and so awesome. And I thank you guys so much for creating this wonderful group we have. So happy decluttering today. I can't wait to see what you're working on. And we will see you back here tomorrow for our next decluttering task on Facebook Live. So bye, everybody. Take care and have fun.